Welcome to Crypto Literacy. Today we're looking at how to convert crypto to crypto transactions for Australian tax purposes. In a nutshell, if you live in Australia and you've ever swapped one cryptocurrency like Bitcoin for another cryptocurrency like Ethereum, then you need to record these transactions in your tax return, and you'll need to know how to convert them into Australian dollars to do that. First, we need to understand that the tax office doesn't consider cryptocurrency to be a currency at the moment. Instead, right now, the Australian tax office views cryptocurrency as property. While we're seeing some evidence of a move away from this, the current guidance is to treat cryptocurrency as property for tax purposes. Next, we need to recognise that all property holds a market value in Australian dollars. When we trade one cryptocurrency for another, this is viewed as a type of barter trade, where we exchange one item of property for another. You may hear transactions like this referred to as non-cash payments or non-cash consideration. In these types of transactions, the tax office takes a two-step approach. The first step is selling the original crypto asset. This sale or disposal is effectively thought of as being sold back into Australian dollars. The second step is the purchase or acquisition of the new crypto asset. Again, this is effectively considered as being purchased with Australian dollars. Of course, in practice, these transactions never actually convert to Australian dollars in between, so we need to calculate the Australian dollar market value at the time of the transaction. Naturally, the sale and purchase values will be the same dollar amount. To find the Australian dollar value, we need three key pieces of information to put into a formula. The first piece of information we need is the date and time of the transaction. We call this the conversion day. This is needed for a range of reasons, but we need to be able to say when the transaction took place. If we need to go back and calculate the Australian dollar values at a later date, this information will be useful to be able to work out which rates apply in the next steps. The second piece we need is the amount of the cryptocurrency that was sold. So, if you're selling Bitcoin, like our original example, we would need to know how much Bitcoin you sold. This could be a fraction of a coin, say in Satoshi, but we need the amount of Bitcoin sold. The third piece of information is the exchange rate. This can be the exchange rate from the exchange you might have used, say Binance or Bittrex, CoinSpot, or something else. If you don't have that information, we can garner this information from other sources such as CoinMarketCap or other websites. There are some useful tools available online these days for this purpose, and we'll put a link to them in the description below. Sometimes the exchange rate is in Australian dollars, in which case we have everything we need. But sometimes it's in another currency like US dollars. In this case, we have to convert that rate to Australian dollars at that time. For this, we can use a reputable foreign exchange rate on that day. If you have used an exchange to make these trades, you should be able to download your trading history. Some sites might call it your order history. This should have all the information that you need. It can also be put directly into the tools we mentioned earlier. So, now that we have the information, we need the formula. It looks like this: the amount of digital currency multiplied by your particular exchange rate on the conversion day. Now, if the exchange rate is not in Australian dollars, the first thing we need to do is convert that to Australian dollars. We simply multiply the foreign rate by the exchange rate to convert to AUD. For example, if the rate to exchange Bitcoin to US dollars is 8,000 US per coin, and the exchange rate to convert US dollars to Australian dollars is $1.30, then 8,000 US dollars multiplied by $1.30 equals 10,400. So our new exchange rate is 10,400. Now let's say we sold 0.75 Bitcoin. To convert this to Australian dollars using our new exchange rate, we would simply multiply 0.75 by 10,400. The amount we would record as proceeds from the sale of Bitcoin would be 7,800 Australian dollars. This would also be the acquisition value for the new crypto holdings, in this case, Ethereum. Under the current rules, this conversion needs to take place for every transaction, including all crypto-to-crypto sales. Of course, if you're trading frequently, this can be quite an onerous task, so speak to your accountant about the best way to record transactions for them, or make use of one of the available tools online to assist you with this. These requirements may change in the future, so please be sure to keep an eye out for updates on this subject. Remember, this video is just helping you understand the tip of the iceberg and should never be relied upon as advice specifically for you. These are the basics of how to record crypto-to-crypto transactions for Australian tax purposes. In a nutshell,